Hey guys, it's Caitlin. Today I will be showing you several different diamond painting tools and how to use them. A link to all the tools I show you today will be in the comments section below. There are typically 4 types of tools standard to each diamond painting kit. Each kit typically comes with a pin, wax, a pair of tweezers, and a tray. I have a variety of each to share and test with you today. First I'll show you the pins and the wax, then the trays, and finally the tweezers. This is a little view of my setup, how I have set up all of my containers that contain all of my beads for this Hade diamond painting. And if you're interested, I will also leave a link below to where you can purchase these. I got them from Amazon, and I labeled each of the containers with labels that you can put in the printer. So I just kind of wrote the number on each of the labels and I cut them into pieces so that they would fit on each of the containers. So let's get started. The first pin I have to show you all today is this white pin. It's typically used in nail salons to apply gemstones to different nail designs, and they're pretty cheap to buy on AliExpress, but I believe I got these on Amazon. It came in a pack of 4 and I believe it was $1, and it came from China, so it did take a while. It took about a month to get here. And I found that this is my least favorite pin because it does not work that well with the square tiles. It does, however, work well with the round gemstones. There are a variety of diamond painting kits that come with circle-like gemstones. They're very bright and shiny, and they're usually very clear, just like the gemstones that you usually get on your nails in the nail salon. So I have heard that these type of pins work better with those type of diamonds, but unfortunately the diamonds I'm working with for this painting, they're my favorite type of diamonds. They're the square diamonds. They're not see-through, they are sparkly, but they're not as shiny and bright as the circle gemstones. So for a demonstration, I'll show you how easy or how difficult it is to pick up one of these little gemstones with this pin. The pin, it's more like a crown, like an eyebrow crown, or just it's very soft. So let's see if I can get one for you all here. It's not very easy, but when you do pick it up, you can see that it's not dead center. It's more of at an angle, so the tip doesn't really like to connect with the gemstone at the top. It connects sort of at an angle, so it's more difficult to place. For an example, I'll show you how you place it. It's not going to be center. You have to be pretty steady with your hand in order to get it centered. And once again, it's not centered. As you can see here, I'm going to zoom in. It's not centered. This is the stone that I placed right here. And because the tip of this pin is so soft, you cannot manipulate the tile with the tip of this pin because the tip will crush, and it will also, I found out, will leave white residue on the bead. It's pretty easy to wipe off because this pin is like an eyeliner, but it's a hassle. At least it's white. But when you're trying to place tiles that are surrounded by other tiles, it is difficult to get the white residue off completely. Sometimes I find that the white residue might go into the cracks, and I'll have to use a piece of paper to try to get it out. To remove one of these guys that I misplaced, I'm going to use a pair of tweezers that I'll talk about later in the video. But as you can see, when you frog or you make a mistake on a canvas, it's very easy to undo. It's easier to undo a mistake when there's not a lot of beads surrounding the tile that you misplaced, like I just did. If you have to pick up a bead in one of these tighter spots, it can be a little bit more difficult, but when you have one in the open, it's pretty easy, like you saw. The longer the tile stays on the canvas, though, the more difficult it is to remove. Moving on to the next pin. This is going to be one of the standard pins that come in the diamond painting kits. This is the pin that I find that comes in the most diamond painting kits. This is the pin that I get most often. I have about 5 of these, and I don't really like this pin because I feel like it's very flexible. It gives away under pressure very easily, and the connection to the actual body of the pin, it's not very stable. This long tip right here, it's very unstable, and I find it very hard to manipulate the tiles on the canvas once I put the bead down if I misplaced it or I didn't get it perfectly in the center of the square. So I already have wax loaded in the tip. The tip is hollow. You put wax. I'll show you the wax that comes with the kits. You don't have to, or usually I've never had a problem where wax doesn't come with the kits. Every time I get a kit, wax comes with the kit, but I've only used one wax triangle. It was my very first wax triangle I've ever received. I've done several diamond paintings, and this is the very first triangle I got. As you see, I have not used that much, and this is for several diamond paintings that are typically very large. I like to do the larger diamond paintings because I like to see the detail. They're usually between 16 inches wide, 18 inches wide, upwards to, I think the longest one I did was 5 feet tall, about 3 feet wide, and now of course this Haid diamond painting Dragonkin is going to be the tallest and the widest I have done. So I almost have a row finish on this one, on this Haid diamond painting, and you can see I haven't even used 1/8 of this wax. So in order to load these pins, these are the pins typical to the diamond painting, you just dip the tip of the pin, the hollow point, into the wax, and the wax will come up loaded into the hollow tip, and the wax will last for a couple hundred tiles that you place before it becomes dry and non-adhesive, and then you replace the wax. How I get the wax out, I take a ballpoint pen and I simply scoop the wax out of the tip of the pin. And I can demonstrate that for you now. And it came out, as you can see. So I have a little discard tray for all of the wax balls that I take out and for all of the tiles that aren't perfectly square or have bubbles in it. I have my little discard tray that I clean out every now and then. I'll just pop this wax right in there, and we can load the hollow tip with some more wax. Another reason I don't like this pin is because I find that the hollow tip is too deep, so it takes up more wax than other type of pins, and I don't really like that because, again, you can only use the very top part of the wax to pick up the gems. It's not like you're using all of the wax in the tip of the pin to pick up the tiles. So a little bit, not a bunch, a little bit of the wax does go to waste. So to load the pin, you want to keep this wax covered because I found that if you leave the wax uncovered, parts of the wax does start to dry out if you leave it exposed to air. So leave it between these two little slices of, it's like a wax paper, and it will stay as sticky as you need it to be in order to pick up the tiles. So you're just going to dip the tip of your pin into the wax, and you can see it came away with some pink wax in the hollow point, and that's going to be enough to pick up the tiles and place it on the canvas. So this one is a lot easier to pick up, to use to pick up tiles than the white pin was. Very easy, just one try. It's not dead center. And again, this one is very flexible. It doesn't go down straight like I like. I'll zoom in to show you. That's straighter than the white pin. And you can use the tip of this pin to manipulate the tile. But it is the part of the pin that you use to grip. it's very weak plastic, and I feel like I can squish it beneath my fingertips, so I don't like the feel of it. This pen is good to use as a starter if you don't know any other type of pens, but I definitely recommend different, more sturdier pens if you plan on making this a long time hobby, because I feel like you will find the sturdier type of pens more comfortable and easier to work with. And again, the tip of the pen will be easier to manipulate the tiles on the canvas. Plucking this little tile off, stuck to my finger. Alright, so the next pen I have to show you, this third one, is going to be a square tip pen. The hollow tip of this pen is square, and to show you the difference, I'll put it next to the standard circle tip pen. See if it will focus here, if you could see the difference. Slightly you can see the difference here. One is more square. This one that I purchased is more square than the standard pink pen that you get in the diamond painting kits typically. So this pen I've used a little bit. I haven't used it that much. It is better than the standard pink pen, but it's still not my favorite. I did order this pen just because it had the square tip, and I thought that it would be better picking up the tiles, even though I didn't have a problem picking up tiles with my current favorite pen. But I thought maybe, you know, the wax would last longer, or I would get some sort of benefit, and really there's not one. I would use this pen if my favorite one broke, or, you know, I misplaced my favorite pen and waited for my new order to come in, but I really, you know, I wouldn't go out of my way to order this one. It looks nice, it feels nice, but the tip, again, it's not connected to the body of the pen. There's this intersection right here, this extra addition that it separates the metal point from the body of the pen, and that causes it, in my opinion, it's very flexible, it sways around, and I don't like how it feels. So it does pick up the beads easily, you know, just one try, and I can place the beads very easily. That one on there pretty straight. You can manipulate it pretty easily, as you see I'm doing now. So I would give this pen, you know, it's 3.5, 4 stars out of 5. Definitely better than the first two I showed you. The white pen, in my opinion, for square tiles, 0 out of 5. And the standard pink pen is probably a 2.5 to a 3. I mean, it will do in a pinch, but it's definitely not one I recommend long term. And it's not my favorite. It's not the most sturdy. So this is the third pen that I showed you all. I will leave a link down below if you're interested on checking it out on AliExpress to see what else it comes with. It does come with a couple other features, a couple other tools. Some of them are pretty cool. The tweezers that I've been using to remove the tiles from the canvas, that actually came with that pen, and these are my favorite pair of tweezers that I'll talk about later in this video. But for now, I have my fourth pen to show you all. This one came in a kit. I didn't order it. It just came from a seller. This is probably one of their typical pens that they keep in-house and that they use to distribute with their kits. It's green, has a hollow point, and the interesting thing about this pen is the end of it, the opposite end, has a hollow dip in it as well for 3 tiles. This end is supposed to be used to pick up 3 tiles. And I don't think it picks them up very well. Some people like it, but I am more of a perfectionist, and I don't think that this pen is capable of picking up 3 tiles perfectly straight and laying them down perfectly straight. Some people want to do it to make it faster, and you can always go back and manipulate the tiles later, but from what I've tried this several times, and each time I just don't like it because I feel like it's more of a hassle to go back and try to manipulate the tiles to where you want them to be perfectly straight. And I find it easier just to do the tiles one by one to get them straight and where I want them, whereas to do 3 and have 2 or 3 or one of them be crooked and try to fix it later. So I will show you this pen. This is actually my second favorite because there's no connection between the tip of the pen and the body. It's all one unit. So I find that this pen is very sturdy. To me, using this pen is probably 4.5 out of 5. Definitely one of my favorites. I've used it for a while just to try something out new, but I find myself always going back to my favorite pen. It picks up the tile very easily. I feel like this one, I feel like it gets the top of the tile better. You can see it's at a slant here, but I feel like it gets the job done, and I feel like it's easy to put down. Now the manipulation factor, it's not really, it's there, but it's not as strong as a pen that would have a metal tip. And for this purpose, this is why it's not my favorite. I can manipulate it, but the hollow point is smaller than other pens, and the area around the tip of the pen is thicker. So when I'm trying to place tiles in a tight area, I find that it's harder, it's more clunky. So I'm going to do this one right here. It's not where it goes, but I'll show you this and I'll show you how you can remove it. If you put it in there, a little bit crooked, you can move the surrounding tiles closer together to that one to try to make it straighten out. But for example, if I just put this tile down and I didn't like how it was, and this was the only empty area around this tile, I don't like how it fits in the gap there. Let me zoom in so I can show you better. It's very clunky. You don't have the smoothness of being able to manipulate around the tiles that much. It's just very thick. So I'm going to remove these 2 tiles now. See, this one is wrong. And you can remove the tiles. It's not going to make the canvas any less sticky. What makes the canvas less sticky is if you leave it open and exposed to air for a prolonged time. That's why you always want to cover your canvas back up with this plastic overlay that keeps the air away from the exposed part of the canvas and keeps your working part still sticky so you can lay the tiles down. And this is the one that was misplaced, and you saw that popped right out. So that was pretty easy to get out. Now for my last pen and my most favorite, it's this little pink pen that actually came in a kit for free, but I found where you can order a bunch of them through AliExpress. I'll post that link down below. This is my favorite. This hollow point connects directly to the body of the pen. The pen body is very thick. The hollow point, I think it's perfect. The metal is thin enough. The tip it's not that deep, so you don't use a lot of wax. And I find that this is the pen that allows me the most mobility and flexibility when I'm trying to manipulate the beads around on the canvas. The wax lasts a very long time, and again, the hollow point isn't that deep, so you don't use that much wax. Very easy to pick up. Very easy to place down. Just like that. I'll do a couple here, and then I'll frog them all. So you can see that it's not that hard to do at all. And you can really get going. So a lot of the people have started a diamond painting Facebook group for Heaven and Earth design patterns, and a lot of the people who have joined have said that they love doing this, and they find that it's a lot quicker than cross stitch, which is very true. I can do a whole page of a Heaven and Earth design in about 16 hours, or roughly 2 days on the weekend, whereas Stitching it would take me 14 days. And, you know, I'm doing about, what is this, almost 10 tiles now in under a minute. And we all know it takes a while to stitch up 10 squares on fabric. So it's very easy, it's very fast, and I feel like it's very therapeutic. So I'm going to frog all of these, and then I will get into showing you all the different kinds of wax that I've gotten. They're all the same, the wax is all the same, but it comes in different colors and different shapes, and so I'll show you all the different kinds of wax you can get. But I'm a part of several different diamond painting groups on Facebook, and I've seen several people order lots of giant sheets of wax, like a whole letter size sheet of wax, and I just don't understand how they would ever use that much wax. You don't use a lot at all. Like I said, I've done several diamond paintings with my very first piece of wax that I've ever gotten. I still haven't even gone through 1/8 of that wax. So I really don't think, you know, you need to order wax like that. If you do the kits, just be careful. There are a lot of illegal kits out there from artists who haven't been paid, or, you know, they haven't gotten the license from the artist to make their artwork into a diamond painting. So just be careful. But if you do get the kits, you can do custom paintings, and those will be pictures that you know you would have taken yourself. You can take a picture that you have taken of your dog or of your family, and you can turn that into a diamond painting. And usually the seller, they'll send you all the tools for free. So they'll usually send you a block of wax. And here's a bunch of different colors that I've got through various different kits. 2 little light pink ones, a blue rectangle, and this more pink rectangle. And then with that special square tip pin, I got these 2 very long pieces of wax, and they're more opaque. They have an orange tint to it, but I don't know when I would ever use this much wax. It's nice to have for sure, because you don't have that fear of ever running out. But I have all this wax, and as you can see, I'm doing this huge painting, and I've done several other huge paintings, and I haven't even gone through a percentage of this. So I definitely have enough wax for several years to come. Moving on, I'm going to show you guys the trays. So the trays that I have been using, these are my favorite type of trays, these 2 white rectangle trays. I use one for my trash tray. I always have that one out. And then I do cross country, so I only do 1 color at a time. And I will fill up 1 tray with 1 color and work from it. I like these rectangle trays because even though the tiles are not all face up, when I get low on tiles, I just take my pin and I swirl it around. And you can see now that a bunch of the beads that were not face up are now turning face up. So it's really easy to manipulate the beads in this tray. For me personally, that's my little trick. I just take the pin and I swirl it around and the beads pop up. But a lot of other people like the trays that are ridged, and I have 3 ridged trays to show you. I have used them, but I can't get the gist of them. So what these trays are meant to do, they're meant to make all of the tiles face up. And there's a trick to it. I'm not really sure how to do it. I've seen people try to do this, and I've attempted to do it, and I can get it to work some of the times, but a lot of the times the beads, they don't all flip over for me. So what you do, you pour the beads in this tray. This is just a standard red tray. It doesn't have any ridges or any ledges to keep the beads in. So you just pour some in, and you can see a bunch went in face up. And then you shake the tray, and the beads are supposed to all fan out and face up. And you can see some have, but some have not. And actually, I'm going to use this moment to show you the end of the green pin. We can get 3 here together. I will show you how this green pin works to pick these beads up. So it looks like I have a section of 3 here. Pop it down. Comes up pretty straight. Not as straight as I would like it. But if you do use these type of pins, you definitely want to use a ridge tray. There's no way you're going to get them all straight in this white triangular tray. It's not going to happen. So you would definitely want this tray if you plan on using this type of pin. And then to place it, I'll show you. Let me zoom in and pop it down. And not 100% straight. I don't like it. I would definitely frog that off center, overlapping. I don't like it at all. Some people might be okay with that, which, hey, if you're fine with that, it's perfectly okay. But I am not one of those people. I like everything straight in their lines. I don't color outside of the lines. I'm not an outside of the box kind of girl. But this is, you know, a standard tray. And there's a couple other trays out there. I have 2 more to show you. One of these trays has a little ledge. And you flip it over and it's just a solid surface on the other side. This is double-sided, which I'm not sure why you would need 2 sides. The beads do come in 2 different sizes. 2.5 and I believe 2.8, but I've never really seen the difference. I believe I only get the 2.8 size beads, which is the larger size. And I don't have any trays that say one side's for 2.5 and one side's for 2.6. So there are those trays out there that one side is for 2.5 and one side is for 2.8, I believe, but I don't have any of those. This tray might be a little bit easier to use for those out there who are challenged like I am. You can pour the beads in, shake it out, and for the ones that don't want to cooperate, you can tilt it down in this area here, and you can use your pin and you can kind of manipulate the tiles down in this flat area, much like I do in my white tray. Or you can dip them all down and try to shake them out that way for the ones that didn't line up straight. Like I said, I don't have the magic touch. I can't get them all to face up. But I've seen several people make videos of how to do it, and they do actually get all the beads to face up. That's probably about as good as I'm going to get it. And you can see it's not that great. So the very last tray I have is the tray that came in the fancy set with the wax and the tweezers and the square pin. This has a very deep ledge. I think, I don't know because I don't really use these trays, but I think it's a little bit easier to flip over the tiles to face up in this tray because of the ledges. I'm not sure because I don't use it. I don't use it all the time like I do my white trays, but shake it out again. That one actually did pretty well. There's only a couple that aren't face up. But, you know, if you want to try to start all over, slide it down. They're not going to spill out. And shake it out again. See what happens. So this one is actually pretty nice. If you do want to be a tray person with ridges, cool. I would recommend this one. I feel like this is going to be your safest tray for your beads and the most easily to manipulate for them to be face up. So I will leave a link for this one down below as well. The last set of tools I have to show you today are the tweezers. Yeah, see, I don't like this tray because all the beads get stuck. Let me just fish all these guys out really quick. Okay, tweezers. So, pair of tweezers that typically come in a diamond painting kit are going to look like these guys right here. Kind of like eyebrow tweezers, maybe not as sturdy, maybe not as fancy, but a pair of tweezers. I don't know if you can tell, but I've used these for a very long time to frog, and you can see one side of the tweezers is bent. It doesn't exactly touch when I close it anymore. It's bent because they're not, you know, that super strong. I've been showing you can, some people actually use the tweezers in place of the pin, which I have done for diamond painting kits that have larger beads. There are some out there. There's like Hello Kitty kits that have beads that are like this big. They have medium beads, and then they have little teeny tiny beads. So for the larger beads, I will use this because you can't pick it up with this pin because they're far too large. So when I was doing those projects, I was using this pair of tweezers. But you can still pick up these little beads and place them with these tweezers, but I don't know, I find this to be more complicated and more time consuming because you have them, you know, you have your tweezers at an angle, and it's not as easy to spin around in your hands as a pin because this has edges. It's a pair of tweezers. So when you put it down, you can, but you can see I'm holding my hand awkwardly, and it still goes down. You know, you can manipulate it, it still goes up. But this pair of tweezers is not very strong anymore because I've used it so much. Each kit usually does come with another pair of tweezers, but you know, I found them all to be this type of quality, not very good and easy to bend. You can see when they're open one side, this side is definitely not straight anymore. So the pair of tweezers that came in my really fancy kit with the square tip pin and the large dark green tray is this one, and I love it. It's very thick metal, very heavy, and the points are very sharp. These pair of tweezers was actually advertised as being able to pick up multiple tiles, and I've done this, but I found you can't do more than 3 safely because they will start to bend in the middle, and then your tiles will just explode and go everywhere. So I don't recommend you trying to get more than 3 with this set of tweezers, or this pair of tweezers. Should not have poured those beads back into there yet, so I'm going to pour them back into this tray, show you how you can pick up multiple pairs or multiple beads with this pair of tweezers. Here's a row of 3. Scrunch them all together, and you see they just popped. But here's 2. It's not perfectly straight. I'll put them down next to these guys and try it again. Okay, here's 4, but they just fell out again. It depends on the pressure that you're putting on the tweezers as well. I don't know. I don't recommend it because they can just collapse at any time. Here's 3. I guess it will go fast. It's definitely more straight than the green pin that can do 3 at a time and pick 3 up at a time because you can get them straight in between these ridges. And 4 just doesn't really want to work for me. Let me see if I can get it. And it fell over. See, tweezers and trays in this ridge tray just doesn't go with me. Let's see. Okay, there's 4. It's not like 100% straight, and they all just fell down. So let me try to find where they went all over my painting. Let's see. There's one. There's one. And there's a couple more around here I'll have to find later. There's one. And the 4th one is unknown at this moment in time, but I will find it. It's probably this one because it's not straight. Let me look at my pattern really quick. I don't think that this is supposed to be there. Actually, it is. But it's a little crooked, so I'm going to fix it. Because I don't like crooked tiles. Alright, I'll have to find that other one later. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions on my setup or want to see more of that, these fabulous spinning containers, these racks, tray, whatever you want to call it. I'll link the listing from Amazon down below so you all can check it out. But if you have any other questions or whatever you have about diamond paintings, just leave a comment down below. I will probably do some more time-lapse videos of me working on this in the future. Right now I have gone back to stitching Hocus Pocus, and I'm trying to do a page finish before I jump back to this, but it's been calling my name a lot, especially since I started the diamond painting Facebook group for Heaven and Earth Designs. I'll also leave a link down below for that as well if you're interested in checking it out. It does have a bunch of information on how to go about ordering kits and supplies for this type of painting, specifically for Heaven and Earth design patterns. Michelle has been talking about potentially becoming a supplier for this, but she wants to see my painting done first. So I'm going to try to work on that for you guys. I've been contacted about her hosting a demo of this at HadeCon in October, so we'll see if that happens. But besides that, she says she's not officially endorsing this until she sees how it's finished or how it turns out, which I completely get. But the group on Facebook, I believe it reached 700 members, and there's a bunch of other people working on kits. So it's really cool to see what they're working on and how their diamond paintings are coming out, and they're pretty beautiful. So if you guys want to check that out, I will leave a link down below in the comments. I will see you guys later. Hopefully I will do a stitching update video soon. This has been my life right now, along with college, and we're still trying to move. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.